In a couple of minutes, I want to acknowledge the accession status of Georgia, and also, Minister, I think we have to be very vigilant because the Russian aggression hasn't stopped. And I know my colleague Deputy McHugh and myself, we were out near Ossetia, and there was an innocent man going to church killed by the Russian army in the last. It was on November the 6th that happened, and I think, while we're pushing and supporting and encouraging democracy in Georgia, and that's their pathway, that's the journey they've been on, and I want to acknowledge the Georgian ambassador who has been working tirelessly, and I think every deputy, including yourself, Kim Corley, knows him personally at this stage, and him and his colleagues have been working so hard in this, but it's important to acknowledge that, and I call on the Dáil and the Seanad to continue with their support. Kim Corley, the European Economic Community was set up as a peace project to reduce tensions and to, as much as possible, to avoid war. And I think at this time, when we see what's going on at the moment in the Middle East, the European Union, as it is now, has a role. And I think it will require, not even I think, it will require courage. And we've only to look at our own country, look at our own history, look at our own recent history, look at our own journey and our pathway to peace. We know and understand what happens if there is no peace. There's tension, there's war, there's retaliation, there's hatred, and there's intergenerational bitterness that carries on and carries on. So what I would call on here today, and for any future EU meetings, we have to instill a level of confidence in an already eroded democratic system where people have lost faith in democracy. This is an opportunity for the European Union to take a stand. I want to acknowledge, Minister, your own work and the Taoiseach's work in the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Taoiseach's efforts as well to try to bring some solution to the current nightmare that's going on in the Middle East. An absolute nightmare where innocent people on the Israeli side were murdered and maimed, and where we have today innocent people in Palestine, men, women and children being killed also. So we have to ensure that we have hope, because the opposite of hope is despair. And from listening to people and listening to young people, and I've been into a number of schools recently as well, there is a despair in relation to what's going on globally, what's going on in Russia, what's going on in relation to their aggressive invasion of Ukraine. And it's something that we have to grasp very, very seriously, and also to ensure that we use all the machinery and mechanics of all the different institutions we have at a European Union level. And while there sometimes can be all those institutions and that massive bureaucracy that we have in Brussels and Strasbourg can be seen as a bureaucracy and just a situation where people stand around talking all day and ensuring that they're pushing for different specific things that are not related to the bigger issues, and the bigger issues is peace. And I think it will require courage. It will require very, very bold intervention by the European Union. We had it in our own country with very courageous men like David Trimble and John Hume that took very courageous positions, very bold positions, but it brought peace. And we know the benefits of peace. We know the rewards of peace. We know that it is intergenerational in terms of the bitterness, but at the same time, we're looking at a new generation coming up in this country where they don't have war, they don't have feuding, they don't have to see the tensions and the retaliations and the bitterness that we faced when we were growing up as young people in this country. So my message today, Kim Corley, is this: whatever we can do at a European level, we have to intervene. We have to intervene very courageously and very, very boldly in order to instill that confidence that's needed in the democratic process, because at the end of the day, the European Union stands on the shoulders of giants who work together courageously to build a peace project, to avoid the tensions of war and the potentials of war. And here we have Moldova, we've got Ukraine, we've got Georgia now with their candidate status. They're in a very, very unique position to promote peace, to promote democracy, strengthen democracy, and the European Union has a very, very important role to play in the Middle East, because what will happen in the aftermath of what's going on today and yesterday and the last week, in the last weeks and over the last month, will be that the bitterness will continue, the tensions will continue, and you're into all sorts of problems for the next generation, and we have to find a solution, and the only way we can find that solution is diplomatically. Thank you. Cahirle.